Alf, big movement in the sports card hobby here recently. There's been a massive shift here in 2025. The momentum from 2024 carrying over in a big way to 2025. We're going to talk specifically about a couple of different items. Burbank investing big, but what are they investing big in? This is Burbank sports cards we're talking about. And the singles market is on absolute fire, whether we're talking about high-end, mid-end, and lower end sports cards, trading cards as a whole. Before I dive in, we've got to shout out our channel partners, PSA. If you have never subbed with PSA before, guys, $25 off your first submission, SCD25 promo code at the shipping and billing screen. Make sure to take advantage over at PSA. Also, one of the last people with a SlabMags code. I know you want SlabMags to keep your best cards in good shape, UV protection. Protect the surface, protect the autograph. 10% off your order with the Sports Card Dad promo code at checkout. All right, a few days ago, there was a reel on Instagram from Burbank Sports Cards, and it was Rob Veras, the owner over there. He was at his new building, at his new facility. Of course, they're turning a Rite Aid into a sports card shop, a mega store. The mega stores continue to grow. But the one thing interesting in this case is Rob, of course, has been in the business for decades. He's seen it all. And he is betting big, investing big in the physical experience. So, of course, so many options online nowadays. My God, so much different than it was in 1990, 89, 90 when I was a kid and in the hobby. It's crazy different than what it was going back. We've got all sorts of online options. Auction houses are everywhere. eBay is bigger than it ever has been before in terms of buying and selling sports cards, trading cards. Sports card shows are absolutely going ballistic. And Rob is really kind of taking from how busy sports card shows are. Of course, he also puts on the West Coast Card Show that is growing and growing and growing. And his new shop is going to be really, really focused around community and getting people there, people that want to be together. He actually said it in the reel. People want to be with other people, setting up an environment where there is a lot of folks coming in to the store and not necessarily just buying his cards off of Fanatics Collect. So I'm really interested in seeing how this store shapes up. Of course, Jeff Wilson's got Cards HQ. He did his own spin on a card shop, and it's amazing. I've been there. Cards HQ is a pretty damn cool card store, especially when I compare, again, when we're talking about 1990, guys smoking cigarettes in the card store. It's a very different world than what we're living in now. And not even the shops that are this big, that are 10,000 plus square feet. There's a lot of smaller shops that are a couple thousand square feet, but have state-of-the-art equipment and POS systems and all these things in place, cool displays. I mean, it's a entirely different world. The money that's being invested and really put back into these card stores, raise the bar on what a card store is going to look like. It's pretty damn incredible. And so, of course, we'll follow that story. I'm excited to hopefully go out to the West Coast and see the Burbank Sports Shop when it is completed. Also get over to a West Coast card show. I think that would be a blast. All right. The singles market, my friends. I know we talk about a lot about the breaking and the repacks and how big that market is. But just people that are collecting, speculating, investing in quotation marks on mid to high end singles, it is like it's never. Look, we talk about the pandemic and prices being crazy. They certainly were. But coming now 3-4 years off of the pandemic and some of those wildly high prices, you still have huge prices, but the hobby, you can tell a lot of the buyer pool, especially the big money, they've gotten smarter in where they're putting money. You're just seeing a concentration of funds into large cards. Now, I'm going to talk about two different cards here. There's a cool story behind one of them, and we'll start with that one actually first. We're going to talk about, of course, the Paul Skeens, the one of one, the debut patch. It did sell last night. We'll talk about that in a second. But shout out to Jeremy Lee over at Sports Cards Live. I was doing research for this particular episode for this show, and he puts on it was a 5-hour live stream, Fanatics Collect Watch Party. He does it with Adam over there, and it's always a fun show. I don't usually always watch the entire thing. Sometimes I have it on in the background. But for the purposes of this episode, I did try to catch kind of highlights. And I was zeroing in on a card that sold for $150,000. It's the 1914 Crackerjack Joe Jackson, $150,000 with the buyer premium. Only 76 total graded that exist. And Jeremy Lee bought this card. He won this card. So congratulations to Jeremy Lee. He talks about on that show, I think this is about at the 4-hour mark. So if you want to tune in and kind of listen to the story, I thought it was really interesting, the thought process behind it. And also Jeremy shares that he's not coming out of pocket cash in the sense that he's not putting new money into paying for this card. He's got cards that he is going to use to now sell to pay for this card, and essentially using a service called Fund Your Cards that he works with. So I believe how that works is Fund Your Cards pays for the card, and then essentially you're kind of selling these cards, and then Fund Your Cards is then getting their money back. That's something I'll have to do some more research on, but I believe if I have that right, that's how Jeremy is doing it. This card was owned by P. Ryan Collection. He's on Instagram. This was his card that he was selling over at Fanatics Collect because he upgraded his copy, is what Jeremy said. And so this is a PSA 1.5. Again, this card looks really good for a 1.5. It actually looks pretty decently centered. The coloring on it, it's got that red color on it. It looks magnificent. This, of course, was Shoeless Joe Jackson is the star in the Field of Dreams movie with Kevin Costner. That movie is based around Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Man, I did love this game. I'd have played for food money. It was a game. The sounds, the smells. Did you ever hold a ball or a glove to your face? Yeah. I used to love traveling on the trains from town to town.
So this is a legendary player, and this, of course, a very important hobby card. Jeremy said he did a ton of research on it, and his research showed him that this is a top 3 hobby card. And so that's a big part of the reason why I was like, okay, if I'm going to kind of diversify, if I'm looking at my collection and I want to add this in as a cornerstone piece, foundational piece of the hobby, this was kind of one of those big consolidation moves that a lot of people have been really thinking about and doing, where you have, a decent amount of cards and you're thinking, but man, I could probably sell these cards and get into a larger card. That's essentially what happened here. And I thought that was just a really cool story. So again, if you go to the Fanatics Collect watch party, it's on the Sports Cards Live channel. It's around the 4-hour mark of this thing. It's a 5-hour live stream. I didn't see all of it, but I did catch this, and I thought it was just a cool story that one of our own content creator with a great collection is maneuvering to get an extremely important hobby card. And then, of course, we got the Skeens. The Skeens, 1 of 1, the debut patch, sold for $1.1 million approximately with the buyer's premium at Fanatics Collect. This is probably the best thing that Fanatics has done as they've taken over Topps and they've taken over the collectibles world, is introducing the debut patch autograph card. They're simply just amazing cards. And I've heard from a lot of baseball card collectors that as opposed to the first Bowmans that have always kind of been the first cards, these are going to be the main cards for players. And of course, there will be football and basketball versions of these. So man, if you're just looking at, the future of Topps products with the leagues and looking at these cards coming out for the exciting new rookies, whether that's NFL, NBA, or MLB, there's going to be excitement year round with these cards, let alone all the other things, of course, that will be coming out. So I don't necessarily think new product chase makes a lot of sense for a lot of different stuff that they come out with, but man, the chase for the ML debut patches, I think that that's going to be fun, whether we're looking at football, basketball, baseball. That's actually a chase that I think is worth talking about as we move forward. And congrats to the winner. We don't know who it is. I don't know if they will become public or not. Ben Burrows did say on this live stream that there's a very famous person that was in on the bidding for the Skeens. Don't know if he or she won the card, but we will have to see if the owner does come out. And again, I think if you just look at kind of the overview of this, the sports card hobby is so multifaceted right now with people doing a ton of different things operating in this space. You can literally be in the dime box, the quarter boxes, the dollar boxes, enjoying yourself. Dr. Beckett does this at shows. You can be buying high-end cards like Paul Skeens and Honus Wagner's and, Cracker Jack Joe Jacksons. You can be zeroed in on the 90s inserts. You can be focused in on, the gambling side of the stuff with the breakers and the repacks and all that sort of a thing. There's never been more going on than there is today in the sports card hobby, and it's wild to watch, especially coming off of the pandemic where it felt like you had so much exuberance and then such a pullback, and it did feel like, okay, everybody's just kind of getting out of this thing now. But really what happened, I think, is once you had the pullback on prices from the pandemic for a lot of cards, most cards, you had the ability for people to come in at reasonable price points where folks were like, you know what? Okay, I can take part in this hobby. We still have a problem with new product pricing, but as far as the singles market goes, that's really more of what this video is about. The singles market is red hot. And I'm look, my eBay watch list, it's full of a variety of different things where I'm trying to make decisions, but there's so many great cards that are at auction. Again, stuff that you don't necessarily see every day. And it's just exciting, man, exciting time. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How are you operating in the singles market? Have you had a great pickup here that you've been looking for over the last few weeks? Tell me about it in the comment section below. Friends, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.